Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. And in this video, as you can see from the title and also the thumbnail, we got a Chet Holmgren build. But I made this build kind of like more all-around-ish instead of just, just straight up scoring. Because the way that he is portrayed in the roster is that he doesn't really have that much playmaking. But we all know that's false. We all know that he's still a pretty good playmaker for a 7-1 big man. Obviously, we have him and Victor Wembanyama that are just, god tier players. Obviously, Wemby is 7'4", but Chet Holmgren is only 7'1". So I wanted to make this build, and I kind of originally made it how he was supposed to. Obviously, we had a lot of leftover attributes that we were able to get to. So I'm going to show you guys exactly what we have cooked up here. So the 7'1" center, 220 pounds, because that's just the minimum we can go to with the 7'6" wingspan. So the height and the wingspan, exactly what is listed in the game for Chet. So let's go ahead and let's get into it. We have a 92 close shot here. So the 92 close shot is what's really, really good because we have float game on Hall of Fame. We also get that paint prodigy on gold. So if we do get into the paint, we're obviously able to, score a little bit more easier in the paint as well. We have the hook specialist on silver if we do some hook shots, but I don't really think there's going to be the point of that, honestly. Driving layup, obviously we have that at an 80, which is pretty good. That's what gives us our physical finisher on silver. So if we do happen to get like a little bit of a lane or, like a smaller guy on us while we're driving, we can easily go ahead and, get that little contact. Convert the contact layup as well with the silver physical finisher. Pretty good stuff there. And we also do have like an 85 standing dunk, which is kind of what is causing us to have gold aerial wizard here. But we do have the 80 driving layup in general that does help with the aerial wizard in the float game as well. But for the most part, it's literally the standing dunk and the close shot that is helping us with this badge more than anything. Really, the only thing that we have here that is because of driving layup itself is physical finisher, which the 80 is for the silver threshold. We have a 75 driving dunk, nothing too crazy though, but we do have that posterizer badge on bronze. So even if we do get like a dunk animation while somebody's closing out, we can at least still get that little bit of improvement on the dunk, making sure that we're not missing the dunk as often. Even though it's only bronze, it'll still help a little bit when people are closing out and jumping at us from the closeout when doing a dunk. Because obviously, a lot of big men that don't have like really any driving dunk, when you see them, getting like a dunk animation and then them missing, that's the reason why, is because they don't have posterizer. So that's the whole reason why, because obviously they will have like paint patroller and all that stuff, and then it just kind of makes it where they just miss. So it's unfortunate. But we do have an 85 standing dunk as well. Gives us rise up. We did go to an 85 instead of just a regular 81, just to get some more animations going as well. But we do have aerial wizard on gold. We do have rise up on silver, so that's pretty good as well. We went with a 77 post control here just because that's just what I was able to get it to, unfortunately. So we do have the post up poet badge on the 77 as well, which is pretty good. If it was like up to me, I would have tried to get to a 79 as well to get that post fade phenom on gold. But silver still should be really, really good as long as you know your animation, the shot and all that. So it's unfortunate, but obviously if we like mess around with the with the stats a little bit, especially like the speed with ball and ball handling, especially since we're not really like incredible scorers like that, or like we're not meant to be like incredible ball handlers like that, we could easily like drop some of this stuff down here a little bit. Like I would probably drop the speed ball down to like that, and then I would drop this down to like maybe like a 55 even, just to get the 79 post control up. And I would just bring up the ball handling back just a little bit here. And then do that. But that's practically what I would do personally if I wanted the 79 instead of the 77. We're just going to keep this for now just to show you guys. But that's practically where like I would max it out at, because everything else is pretty fucking specific. like our shooting here, for an example, is pretty specific because obviously it's maxed out. So it's like we can't really touch it. Otherwise, we're just getting worse. So yeah, but with Chet Holmgren being able to shoot the three and shoot middies and all that stuff and be just like a really, really good shooter in general. So it's like we can't have as high of stats for his three-pointer at least. I know that the mid-range being an 86 is pretty much exactly what he has on the roster. We just can't have that 83 three-point rating that he has on the roster, which is pretty unfortunate. And you know, it's the same with the close shot. A close shot, he usually has like a 97, but I don't really think there's a point in having it at a 97. I just dropped it down to a 92 because that's like the best threshold for, you know, making sure that we have points for everywhere else. Because once you reach that like 97 threshold, it just kind of eats up all of your stats and your potential. So because it just weighs so much at that point because of it being a 90 plus with you being a big man using close shot. Yeah, so it's just kind of obnoxious doing that. But yeah, everything is exactly the same here besides three-pointer. Three-pointer is just maxed out though, so that's not really like a choice that we have. So yeah, it's like everything is exactly how it is, or like as high as it can be for the Chet build. Then we have an 89 pass accuracy with a 59 ball handle and a 52 speed with ball. Now, the difference here when it comes to the playmaking here versus the playmaking that Chet Holmgren has a 60 pass accuracy with a 65 ball handle and a 67 speed with ball. Now, you can have the 65 ball handle, but not the speed with ball. And then obviously him having a low pass accuracy makes it to where he doesn't even get break starter. So it's just kind of obnoxious that they would even consider him having a 60 pass accuracy when he's a big man. So what we did is we just said, we're going to give him the pass accuracy because we know that he can pass the ball. Plus we have all the extra leftover points, you know, from everything else, where it's just like everything else is exactly where I feel like it should be, or like I feel like it's just in a good spot to still be considered Chet Holmgren, while, you know, giving us the ability to just have like, you know, really, really good stats. So we have the 89 here, which does give us that versatile visionary. And then obviously having the 87 does give us that break starter. So once I got to an 87 here, because originally I'm like, okay, we go to like an 85. We went to the 85 just so we can get that bailout going. And I'm like, okay, well, what if we went to the 87 to get break starter? And then it's like, okay, well, versatile visionary is an 89. Why don't we do that? Then obviously the next one is like a 91, so I can go up by 2 points, and then Dimer is a 92. So it's just one of those things where it's like the perfect threshold for like a straight up just like a non playmaker, or somebody that, you know, has a little bit of pass accuracy but isn't, you know, completely useless, is like a 78. I've talked about this a lot last year in 24 with the perfect break point for, you know, just like average passing last year. In every single build video, I always mention it, be like, I always mention this. This is a perfect break point for this. And 77 last year is the 78 this year. So 78 this year is the perfect threshold, and I'll show you guys that, because 78 is what gives you that versatile visionary on bronze, which is really, really nice because it says allows for high risk creative passes and alley oops to be made more successfully. And then after that, it's like the next one that you get is like an 82 rating, which is 4 attribute points. So it's not like you're upgrading it by moving up 1 point or 2 or even 3. No, it's 4 whole points before you get the next upgrade. So then, you know, if you decide to do that, and then you go up to 4 points, and then it's like, okay, well, and now I have Dimer on gold, which is pretty good. But then the next one is, you know, like 3 points. So it's like, okay, well, I can spare 3 points. And then the next one is like 2 points. And then it's like, oh, okay, I can do that. And then the next one is another 2 points. And then you see that, you know, the next one is another 2 points. And then 1 point. And then it's like another point. And then it's another 2 points. It's just, it's one of those things where it's like, if you, like, you don't have a perfect break point past the 78. Once you go past the 78, and go to the 82 to get Dimer, you really truly don't have a perfect break point, because it's like you're always like so close to the next one, like within at least like 2 or 3 run the next one. Meanwhile, at the 78, you're within 4. That's like the most that you have in between like your breakpoints there. So might as well just go with the 78 if you don't want to have like the 82 plus. Just stick with the 78 because then you're at the perfect breakpoint, which is kind of what my Jalen Suggs build is at. And my Jalen Suggs obviously is a point guard, but that's just kind of what he's like. But moving on to defense, though, we got to talk about it. Maxed out interior defense at an 88. We can't get the 90 plus, unfortunately. So that's just a little bit unfortunate. But we are still at a really, really good spot for paint patroller and all that. So really, really good spot, like I mentioned. We do have a 62 perimeter defense, which is 62 perimeter defense does give us that immovable enforcer on bronze. Now, that's very, very important to keep in mind. That immovable enforcer last year was just strictly tied to strength. This year, it's tied to strength and perimeter defense. So for bigs that would like to have that like strength and be able to utilize that immovable enforcer badge to be able to, you know, stop people, to stop like, you know, ball handlers and, you know, dribblers or finishers, you have to have that perimeter defense, which is unfortunate, but it's true that you have to have at least a 62 perimeter. So you can see like a lot of big men. I can see like literally a lot of bigs going for that 62 perimeter defense just for the sake of getting a movable enforcer like I'm doing here. And it's very, very good because also Chet Holmgren in the roster list does have a pretty good perimeter defense with like a 75 rating. Now, if I wasn't 7-1, that means that I would be able to get like on-ball menace and challenger and pick dodger all on bronze at least, which is pretty good. But unfortunately, I cannot because I am 7-1. So having the 6-2 or the 62 is really, really good here because I'm not wasting the other like extra attributes here. And, you know, I still get the immovable enforcer badge on at least bronze. Not that we were able to get it to silver because it requires an 82 strength, but we'll talk more on that in a second. Steel's upgraded just because everything else is upgraded. We can't get glove. We could get interceptor, but Chet Holmgren doesn't even have that high of a rating. Honestly, our rating is higher than what he has on the roster. He has only a 38. So there's that. We have a higher block rating just by 2 points because we wanted to make sure that we got now 1 extra point there for paint patroller on gold. And then we had 1 extra point on top of that to get pogo stick on gold, on top of us having, you know, like better vertical and better strength. We'll talk more on that in a second. But it's really, really good that we were able to get through the 94. We sacrificed some things, mainly like our ball handling and speed with ball, mainly, just so we can utilize a higher block rating. Now down here for the rebounding, it's pretty damn close to exactly what Chet Holmgren has his rebounding to. He has like an 83 defensive rebound, but a 64 offensive rebound. But we have the 86 just because it's like as high as we could possibly get. And we kind of were trying to see if we can get that 85 plus, just so we can get, you know, like, I feel like the 85 plus is like that threshold to where it really does take you, you know, towards the ball a little bit easier. Because you have to keep in mind that some of these, you know, some of these badges, you know, like it says that you get like the box out beast badge at an 85. But the only reason why they have it set like at an 85 is just because you will start to get better animations at 85. So that's something that you have to take into consideration when making builds, is taking a look at the badge thresholds and what the badges require. Because if you see at some points like this, for an example, it's just like, we can't get box out beast, but I feel like it's still really, really good just to have that because you're going to be able to get better animation. Plus, on top of us having a pretty decent vertical for a big in general, that's going to be very, very good as well. So we're going to be able to get rebounds a little bit easier because of us having that 85 versus the 83 that he has on the roster, which is pretty good. Now with our speed and agility, yes, we do have a 72 speed. We have a 60 agility just so we can be more effective all around, since we are obviously like, you know, 220 pounds and 7'1". We're able to, you know, keep up with the little guys. Even though with our agility, obviously we're 7'1", so we don't really get any of these badges. But for the most part, we can still utilize the 60 agility to our advantage, be able to get into those passing lanes a little bit easier, be able to get into just those lanes to the basket to cut people off a little bit easier. It's that situation there where it's very, very nice to have this as a big, even though we don't get any particular badges. In the 72 speed, we do have the 72 speed, which is very, very good. Be able to give us, that off-ball kind of speed, getting to place, just in general without the ball in our hands, because obviously we don't have that high of a speed with ball, so we might as well just utilize our speed off the ball, which is kind of the situation here. And I know that Chet has a 75 speed and a 75 agility, but we have that maxed out, so we have it literally as high as we can get it, which is, unfortunate we can't get it any higher to really match his. But we just took those extra points that we were able to get from doing that and putting it on strength, something that Chet Holmgren does not have. Chet only has a 45 strength on the roster version. Here, we have the ability to have that significantly higher because obviously we don't have the speed or agility that he has. There's other stats that we don't have that he has as well. So we might as well, and like also just in general, when you try to use every single one of his stats, it's not going to give you like a full 99 build in the builder. So we have more room to work with here. So we have a 71 strength, which does give you that movable enforcer on bronze, which is pretty good. But not only that, but gives you that box out beast on silver, which is pretty damn good. Now that's practically like the main reason why we went to the 71 instead of just, having it down to like a 70, which gives us our post lockdown and post powerhouse as well. But then we also have that 71, like I said, for immovable enforcer, making sure that we're able to power up ball handlers a little bit more. Not that it's going to be super effective, but it's there. And then, having that box out beast on silver just so we can get even more rebounds. And then the vertical being a 77. The 77 vertical does give us that pogo stick on gold, which I feel like is really, really good for somebody like Chet Holmgren. So the vertical, really, really good. It gives us our posterizer on bronze, gives us silver high flying denier, gold aerial wizard. We have silver rise up as well, and then the gold pogo stick that's available. So we have some really, really good stats here. And it's funny because the pogo stick needed a 94 block. However, you need a 95 block just for Hall of Fame. It's insane how close together that is. So you could probably utilize that a little bit more, as like a power forward or small forward. Just saying. But obviously, moving on into the comparisons, we have Chet Holmgren, we have Kristaps Porzingis, we have Joel Embiid. Obviously, having Chet Holmgren as our top comparison here, the two-way, three-level playmaker, I feel like that makes a little bit of sense. I mean, it also makes sense for Joel Embiid a little bit as well. Not so much Kristaps in my personal opinion, but I can see why they would compare me to Kristaps because we're tall, lanky, and, we have the ability to defend and shoot a little bit as well. Just utilizing our height, our slim frame, and then being able to shoot the ball as well. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this build in the comment section below. I know that this video is significantly longer than the others, but that's just because I had a lot more to necessarily talk about with this build rather than the others, because there was a lot of specifics here, and then me having to go in depth on a lot of this stuff here. So yeah. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button. And yeah, that's going to be it for me. See you all on the next one. Later, everybody.